What's up, dialysis disciples? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone is enjoying the holidays so far. So, question for you guys. Now, I think I know the answer to this, so I'm going to ask you anyway. How many of you on here, right, have ever felt stuck and stressed out and just spiritually drained while waiting for that transplant call, right? It's like you're living between two spaces. Like, not where you used to be, but not where you're trying to go either. You're just stuck in the middle. That makes sense? Well, if that's you, stick with me tonight, right? Because this training is going to hit your spirit in a whole different way. Also, guys, if you hear any background sounds, my loving family is here. The people you see on the wall back here, they're here today. We're celebrating. Some of them are young, so you might hear some noise, right? But if you're here tonight, live, put hashtag Team Live in the chat. And if you're here catching the replay, put Team Replay, hashtag Team Replay in the chat, so I can show you some love later. And if you're watching this on YouTube, YouTube is where we post these replays, because Facebook takes them down after 30 days, right? And if that's you, like, comment, subscribe, and do all the stuff you do on YouTube, right? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Troy Snead. I'm a 25-plus year dialysis patient. I'm a 2-time transplant recipient, so I know what I'm talking about tonight, and also a 3-time cancer survivor. And I'm the author of A Gifted Tome, the 40-Day Spiritual Fast for Dialysis Patients. And God has called me here to help you break the fatigue and the bondage so you can feel like yourself again, right? And actually better than yourself. So you can actually do what God put you here to do, right? Once you receive the transplant, and just as importantly, while you wait. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, right? So tonight's teaching is called Stay Strong and Energized on the Road to Transplant, right? On the road to freedom through transplant, I should say. Because listen, waiting for a transplant is not just a medical season, right? It's also a spiritual battlefield, right? And if you don't stay aligned with Him, the waiting can wear you down, right? Can wear down your hope, drain your energy, and kill your freedom, and actually attack your identity. So by the end of this live, you're going to know exactly what to do, how to stay spiritually aligned, mentally steady, and energetically strong while you wait for your miracle. Who's ready? Who's ready? All right, so let's get into it. I know everybody wants to get back to the holidays, and if you're spending this time watching me, I am so grateful, right? So how many of you have ever sat by the phone, right, and every ring felt like it was life or death, right? Give me a yes in the chat if you've ever just had that anxious feeling, like when you see a phone number you don't recognize, you're like, ooh, that might be it, right? Who's with me? So, some of you may or may not know, but I've been waiting for a transplant for 8 years. Yeah, I've had 2 transplants, and if you've been watching and following me for a number of times, you know that story. I won't go too deep into it, but let's just say the first transplant, right, failed because I was young and dumb and I wasn't spiritually aligned with the Father. Looking back on it, I know that He wanted me to experience that so I can be able to talk to you about it, right? The second transplant I had failed because during my cancer treatment, which was a operation, they gave me an antibiotic that was nephrotoxic to my kidney, destroyed my kidney. So I had that kidney for 5 years, right? But excuse me, but during that first transplant, right, during the time between starting dialysis and getting the first transplant, right, I wasn't walking in alignment like I should have been, right? And it's something you should know, if you're on here and you're a caregiver and maybe you're just watching me, thank you, right? But the transplant wait is one of the most mentally draining seasons a kidney warrior can face, right? Not actually because of the dialysis, yeah, that stuff, the treatments, right? But because of the spiritual pressure. What do I mean? Like, you have an enemy, you have an adversary in the spiritual realm, right? We call him Slick, right? He loves waiting seasons. He's rubbing his hands, right? Because if he can get you waiting for something and in a frustrated state, that's when he can dig into you, right? That's when he can attack you. Your exposed thoughts, right? he can get in your mind and he can drain your energy long before the transplant ever comes, right? Let me ask you this. How many of you ever connected your fatigue and your lack of energy to your spirit life? Yeah, think about it, right? Because what Slick will tell you is he'll whisper in your ear, like, what if that call never comes? What if he has you waiting forever, right? What if something goes wrong? What if you get the transplant and you don't know how to take care of it and you blow it, right? What if you're not strong enough to handle it? What if God forgot about you? These are all the things he whispers to you. But I'm ready to tell you today, kidney warriors, dialysis disciples, those are lies. Lies straight from the pit, right? Because when you're spiritually unaligned, those lies can sound like truth, right? Who's tracking? Put some fires in the chat if you're tracking with me right now, right? So it's really important, guys, that we don't walk, how can I say this? Like, we're in this world, but we're not from this world. We're spiritual beings, right? And the Father put us here to do what he called us to do. It's almost like we're missionaries, or we're on assignment in a foreign country, because that's exactly what we're here to do, right? So, and because we're spiritual beings, like, there's spiritual attacks. Who knows what I'm talking about, right? The Bible also says we're not at war with flesh and blood, right? That means we're spiritual beings, right? So that's when enemy loves to attack you. And when you're waiting for a transplant in an anxious way, right, he can attack your thoughts, and those negative thoughts will pull your energy down. Who's tracking? Who's connecting all that? Right? Who's connecting that? Put some fires in the chat if that makes sense to you. Now, right, listen. I'm gonna break it down for you. Right? When you're waiting for a transplant, your life is not on pause. It may feel like it's on pause, but it's not on pause, right? It's preparation, right? And preparation seasons always feel uncomfortable because God is shaping the version of you who can actually handle the blessing of a transplant. Does that make sense? If the person you are right now on dialysis was able to receive the transplant, right, and you wouldn't be able to keep it, right, because you're not ready yet. When you're ready, God will give it to you. That's what you have to trust, right? So what do? You start becoming. You start getting better and better at being a person, being yourself. Listen to him. Get in alignment, like we talk about, right? Think about it. Everybody on here is a believer, right? And I pray that you're in your word, right? Think about David. We all know King David, right? Before he became king, he was anointed. God anointed him. Read 1 Samuel. He was chosen. He was called, right? But then God sent him right back into a waiting room. Why? Because his throne required a mindset that the shepherd, he was a shepherd, that the pasture couldn't build. He couldn't build what he needed to become there. God had to take him through some things, right? And that's when he faced Goliath. That's when he did all the things that made him the person that could handle being a king. And that's the same thing for you. Your dialysis season is your Goliath, right? You got to prove to the Father that you can handle it in a way that pleases and serves him and grows your capacity to be able to handle the kidney, right? So if that makes some sense, put some ones in the chat. Put some ones in the chat, right? So just think about it. Think about it, guys. Everything that God does and shows us how to do is right there in Genesis. Be, do, have. You got to be the person that can do the thing so you can have the thing, right? So right now, this is you being. You're being. You're showing God the person you are being and becoming while on dialysis, right? And that's how you prepare yourself to get to that kidney transplant, right? So the whole time you're waiting, right? Your waiting isn't in vain, right? No time waiting is wasted. It's preparation. Who's with me? Does that make sense? I hope that's making sense to you guys, right? So all these things affect your energy, right? All these things affect how, when that fatigue you're feeling, right? Yes, the dialysis machine is physical and it does cause that, right? But when you're walking in a path and walking in alignment that God put you in, that's how you get energy, right? So speaking of alignment, I'm going to just talk about 3 types and ways to align yourself, and 3 types of alignment, right, that actually give you energy, right? I know it doesn't. I know that may not be clicking, but this is what God has revealed to me, and this is what I've experienced and learned from walking this journey for 25 years, right? So I want to give you 3 different types of spiritual alignments. And if you master these, right, you won't just wait for the transplant call. You'll wait with strength and clarity and energy, right? Who's connecting the dots, all right? I know y'all tracking. With me, right? So the first type of alignment that you have to understand, all right? And that's your vertical alignment, all right? That's connection to God's voice, right? When you're waiting, as we talked about, the enemy will attack your identity first, right? Your identity. Oh, I'm just a dialysis patient. Oh, I'm a burden to my family, right? These are all thoughts planted by Slick, right? These thoughts, they're not yours, right? Again, we're spiritual creatures. Like, he plants them. Like, if you think something, you did it. Either it came from him or him, right? And it's up to you to discern. And the ability to do that is when you're aligned properly with the Father, right? When you're waiting, the enemy loves to attack the identity. Like I said, he wants you doubting yourself. He wants you confused. He wants you spiritually dehydrated, right? But when we fast, we pray, we meditate on scripture, right? These things connect us to God's voice, right? And when you're connected to his voice, Slick's whispers don't stand a chance. Who's with me? Let me get an amen in the chat. Let me get some amens in the chat, right? So I helped, was one guy I helped, right? Let's just call him P, right? He had just broke up with his girlfriend, and they were even about to get married, right? She was from Mexico. He lived in the States, right? And he would fly, and it was just a tremendous strain on their relationship. So and they were bickering a little bit, intimacy issues, and she decided to end it, and that destroyed him. But when we talked, and he learned about the importance of spiritual alignment, right? Then he was able to get re-energized. Who's with me? Does that make sense? Let me get some A's and amens in the chat if that makes sense to you. So your second alignment, right, is your energetic alignment. And what do I mean by energetic alignment? So when we use the word energy, we use it in 2 senses. One is energy, like how fast can I run? How long can I stay awake? How much can I lift? Let's go. Energy, right? But then there's another type of energy. It's the frequency you put out. It's the light you shine. Who's with me? That's energy as well. And they're both connected. They're not the same word by accident, right? So if you're feeling fatigued and you're having low energy, right? Yes, the dialysis machine drains you a little bit, but when you're spiritually aligned, energetically aligned, that doesn't affect you as much, right? So, like, you don't stay energized during the waiting season by accident. You stay energized through your alignment. Your physical energy flows from your spiritual frequency, right? When your soul is heavy, your body feels heavy. You're dragging it around, right? Come on, I know y'all tracking, but when your spirit is aligned, your body responds with strength. Like even in a dialysis chair, even in the wait, right? So, for instance, like because of the holidays, our dialysis schedules in center were switched. They're open on Sunday, and this gives us Thursday off. So my Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday treatments were moved to Monday and Wednesday, right? So I had dialysis today, right? Would you have guessed it just by looking at me? Do you see the energy I'm putting off? You know why? Because I'm doing what God called me to do. And once you get aligned, you'll know what that is, and that is what gives you energy. Guys, anybody who's watched me for a little bit knows that that's the formula that I teach, right? And that's the formula that God has given me to show you, right? Now, the third type of alignment that I want to talk about is your mental alignment, your thought battle, right? Like, guys, life here on earth, right? It's just a thought game or thought battle, right? You have to be able to control your thoughts before you can do anything out in the world, right? Think about it. Like when a thought pops in your head, what are you doing with it? Are you examining it? Are you discerning it? Are you taking it captive? Or you just let it run wild in your head? Guys, thoughts are things. Thoughts are things, right? And when you realize that, and you know that some of these things don't serve you, you're more aware of how to control them. The word says take every thought captive, right? So this is where most warriors I speak to and I help, this is where they're losing the fight, right? So the waiting, it attacks your imagination. Like, what if the transplant never calls? What if they call and I don't answer my phone and I miss it? Like, this is all the enemy putting that stuff in your head, right? Your brain starts writing stories that God never authorized, that God never gave you, right? You got to be intentional about what you meditate on, your input, what you watch, what you listen to, right? All of those things are part of the mental battle and the mental alignment, right? Alignment means everything is lined up. Your thoughts can't be here and your body here and your spirit here, right? Everything has to be lined up. When everything lines up, that's when you can connect with the Father, and that's how you get re-energized. Does that make sense, guys? Right? So you got to be intentional about it, right? Your thoughts, before your thoughts because your thoughts shape your energy, and your energy shapes your endurance. Does that make sense? Right? So who's feeling this? Let me get some fire in the chat. This is making sense to you right now, guys. Right? So so this is what I want to say too. Like, I'll put it all in a bowl for you, right? This is the shift that changes everything. You're not waiting for a transplant. Huh? Yeah. You're preparing for a promise. Remember, dialysis isn't your punishment. It's the wilderness that refines the warrior. Your transplant is the promised land, right? And you're getting ready to walk in freedom. All right, guys. So, yeah. So, all right, y'all. Before I go any further, let's recap what we learned tonight. Sorry, guys, I had some technical difficulties here. Some technical difficulties here. We back. So, before I go any further, let's recap what we learned tonight, right? We talked about why the waiting season feels so heavy. Because the enemy attacks your mind when your body is in pause. Because you're tired, right? We learned that the waiting is not punishment, it's preparation. We broke down the 3 alignments: vertical alignment, reconnecting to God's voice; energetic alignment, raising your frequency, letting your light shine, right? And your mental alignment, controlling the battle in your mind, right? And we reframed the whole thing. You're not just waiting for a transplant, you're preparing for a promise, right? And if that made the picture crystal clear for you, hit me with an amen. Amen in the chat. Right. So let's tie it up with a biblical story. You remember Abram, right? So Abram, whose name in Hebrew means great father or something, never had a kid. He didn't have any kids. I wouldn't say never. Didn't have any kids. His name was Great Father, and he didn't have any kids, right? But God promised him a son, right? A miracle child. But the waiting took years, took decades. Every day Adam woke up in that in-between space, not where he used to be, not yet where God promised him, just waiting, right? But here's the part that hits my spirit. I hope it hits yours, right? Romans 4 says, Abraham staggered not at the promise of God. It means he believed him. He trusted him no matter how long it took, right? He didn't let the waiting weaken his faith. He didn't let the silence shake his identity. And when that promise finally came, it came suddenly, unexpectedly, just like a transplant call. Makes sense? The waiting season didn't delay the promise. It prepared him to handle it. I hope y'all getting this, right? The same God who kept Abraham strong in the wait is keeping you strong until your call, right? Listen, guys, I've been waiting 8 years, and you see me fired up. Why is that, right? Why is that? So, now, before I shift gears, let me connect everything we just talked about. The waiting, the preparation, the alignments, the promise, right, to where you're headed next. because what we covered tonight is just one more example of how dialysis has been robbing you of your life, your energy, and your freedom. Disciples, if you're tired of feeling exhausted, if you're tired of waking up with no energy, if you feel chained to that dialysis machine and trapped by the same dialysis home, sleep, repeat, eat, home, sleep, eat, repeat cycle, that's called dialysis drift, and I'm here to pull you out of it, right? Dialysis drift is keeping you from the life God called you to live. This is exactly what I help people do. I take the power and control back from dialysis so you can start living again. So you don't feel like a prisoner to a machine 3 times a week. So your whole day isn't just ruined because it was an appointment day. So tomorrow, the next day, you can actually have the energy to do what God called you to do, right? So you can practice your faith freely. And so you can finally step into the abundant life God created you to live. If you feel like that your life's been restricted, drained, or affected in any of these areas, here's what I want you to do. Comment help below. Help in the comments, or DM me help, right? I'll reach out to you personally. We'll talk. I'll show you exactly how dialysis is affecting your life, your specific journey right now, and show you how to take your power back, right? Who's with me? Who's with me, guys? Right? Help in the comments, help in the DMs, guys, and we'll be on the call, right? So I know you guys. I know me. I'm smelling the turkey. I'm looking forward to getting after it tomorrow. And guys, yes, so tomorrow, we take it easy a little bit on our restrictions, but don't go ham. No pun intended, right? Don't go ham. Don't go eating all that salt and potassium stuff. Can I be transparent? I already had a slice of sweet potato pie, and it was good, right? But listen, be careful, dialysis warriors. Take your binders, right? And again, DM me help if this journey is rough on you right now. It's what God's calling me to do, right? He called me to help you. So until next time, stay strong, dialysis disciples.